I was too harsh on the Souls game. It's been 6 months since I posted that first video, and looking back, I think I judged them in a way that wasn't fair. I was frustrated, I was annoyed, and I was upset at the time. I just wanted to move on. I kind of want to start with Nightreign. I criticized the heck out of Nightreign because it was a separate game instead of a DLC. I can understand why it's a DLC now. It introduces different mechanics that Elden Ring doesn't have. I wasn't aware at the time that Nightreign was made by a smaller group of people in From Software instead of the main team. I didn't even know they did this, to be honest. I thought they did it with Dark Souls 2 and that's it. But after knowing that, I judged it too harshly. And I am surprised it's still going. It's still going strong. I never doubted it, but I think I was just too hard. I just wanted to make that quick. I'm not going to talk about Shadow of the Erdtree. I still don't like it, but I did came around to a few things about that as well. First off, the treasure hunt of Erdtree fragment. I did not like this at first, but after reading some of your comments, I understood that Shadow of the Erdtree rewarded exploration. But I still think it's a bit like you kind of have to go out of your way to do this, which still sucks, but I understand why they did this. And I did come around to a few of the boss fights, which Rolana, Mesmer, and Radon. Especially Mesmer. I was trying, this was a while ago, I was trying to help someone with Mesmer, and after actually understanding the moves a little bit, I thought Mesmer was a very good fight. And at first, I thought he was way too hard, how to even dodge some of this stuff. But after a while, patience was the key. I still don't really like Shadow of the Erdtree, but not as much as I did before. That's really all I have to say about Shadow of the Erdtree, and I just want to move on to the biggest piece of the cake, or of the pie, or however that saying goes, which is Elden Ring. The concept of Elden Ring is very, very good. An open world Souls-like, or well, Souls game, not like, but an open world Souls game is a very good idea. I do like open world games, however, despite not playing a lot of them, the idea is very strong. However, I am going to talk about two things that I think I judged a little too harshly. So the first thing is the first half of the game being better than the second half. I mostly said this out of frustration and annoyance. While the first half of the game is good, the second half of the game isn't inherently bad. The second half of the game, I feel, have the better bosses than the first half. The first half of the game has Morgott, Godric. Honestly, that's really all I can think of. It's been a long time since I've played Elden Ring, so can't really think of any others. But the second half has Melania, Malekith, Godfrey. Second half of the game has better bosses already. And I just think that the bosses afterward kind of have more delays. That was a big word in the first video, which I still stand that the delays are, and some fights are too fast for the player. But I'm not going to go into that because that would probably make this video more negative than it needs to be. I want this video to be more of a neutral feeling, not negative nor positive. So I do think that that was a stupid thing to say, because the second half of the game has the better bosses. They really just test you more than the first half. Now, that might have been stupid to say now, but just know that I have thought about this for nearly 6 months. Well, it'll be 6 months by the time you see it. For me, it's still about 5. Now, the second thing, and this is the bigger one, the second thing was about how every boss had a phase 2. This one triggered a lot of people in the comments, because a lot of you did not like that I said that. Yeah, I can see why. I don't think phase 2 is a bad idea. But if it's in every single fight, don't you think that's a little repetitive? Just a little bit? I know the second phase of a boss fight makes the boss fight good, but if it's in every, like, having to kill a boss with it being second phase every single time, like every boss having a second phase, it just makes it longer. Which, yeah, you could enjoy it more. Like, look at Dark Souls 1. Let's just take a look at that. Dark Souls 1 has 4 fights that I think are very good for a phase 1 fight. The first one is Taurus Demon, one of my favorite fights in the game. There's Quelaag, there's Nito, and then there's Gwen. All of these fights are good, in my opinion. Everyone's opinion's different. And I think the one phase just makes them special. Because it's a good fight that only has one phase, and then it's a fight you remember. But then again, people could say, well, with a phase 2, wouldn't you remember it more? Probably, but just for the clarification, a boss having a second phase itself is not a bad idea. But every boss in the game having a phase 2 is a bit repetitive. I'm going to, like, another example. Space Marine 2. I know this isn't a Souls game, but it plays pretty similar to it, except with guns included. Space Marine 2 has plenty of amount of bosses in its roster. However, only 4 of them, as of the making of this video, because that can change, have more than one phase, with 3 of them having 2 phases and 1 of them having 4 phases. The ones with 2 phases are the Hive Tyrant, Winged Tyranid Prime, and the final boss. Well, I think the final boss has 4. I don't know, it's been a while since I fought the final boss. And then the Vortex Beast, which is the newest Chaos boss, has 4. And after fighting the Chaos, or the Vortex Beast, it made me realize how much calmer-ish Elden Ring's bosses are in comparison. Don't get me wrong, Elden Ring's bosses are chaotic. They can be. But the Vortex Beast is pretty chaotic. And the Hive Tyrant as well. But the Hive Tyrant is one of my favorite fights. No, it is my favorite fight in Space Marine 2. So you're probably wondering, why are you comparing Space Marine 2's bosses to Souls bosses? They're 2 different games. It's because while I was playing Space Marine 2, I was just thinking how I kind of treated Elden Ring, how I criticized it. And I am not one who really criticizes. I don't want to be the person who just says, this game is awful, don't touch it. Like I said, I was frustrated, I was annoyed, and I just wanted to move on to something else. I just wanted to play something else. Like, Souls games are still good, but I don't really play them anymore. Because I think the last time I played a Souls game was about, well, 5-6 months ago. But I think that's really all I want to say for Elden Ring. Now, do I have any problems with the older Souls game? Not at all. However, some of you have recommended for me to play Dark Souls 3. I don't know about that. I heard Dark Souls 3 was pretty quick, and the boss fights are pretty long. I'm not, like, putting excuses, but I don't, like, it's gonna be hard stepping, like, that I stepped away from Souls games, like, 6 months ago, and then going back to it. The transition's pretty tough. There are still some stuff that I do stand by. Bosses being too fast for the player, I still think that is still the case. I wanted to do an update on this because, one, that video is my most viewed video on my channel. And I thank you. Even though my takes were awful, I appreciate the comments on that as well, because your comments kind of helped me shape my opinion a little better, to get to know all your thoughts. That's just kind of what I want. I like what other people have to say about something, and then if I have to, it kind of changes my thoughts on it. So even though not all the comments were good, so this is kind of the style I want to do for my videos from this point forward, just making videos reflecting on certain stuff, certain ideas. You'll see gameplay in the background, like right now with Plants vs. Zombies. I want to make 2026 a good year. I'm not saying 2025 was bad, but I think 2025 could have been better. And I want to do that this year. I want to make it better. I want to be more original. Not just someone who just uploads Payday 2 content, just gameplay content, keep in mind, and expect that to get views. No, not at all. And I just been working behind the scenes a little bit about that. And I just mostly post whenever I have something to say. But I still want to post at least twice a month. But it would be sometime in that month, not on Thursdays. Well, most likely Thursdays. I'll try to make it on either Thursday or Sunday. I was a little harsh. The video does not lie. I was harsh because I was angry. Well, not angry, but overwhelmed, frustrated, and annoyed. Or before we truly wrap this up, just because I like Dark Souls 2 doesn't mean it's a bad game. Dark Souls 2 is, well, it's not really underrated anymore, but it's still a good game. But it doesn't mean you have bad takes. Everyone has their own different take. Mine just happened, I just happen to like Dark Souls 2. But that's all I'm going to talk about for now. So thank you for listening or watching. Consider leaving a like. Put your ideas in the comments down below. I do read them and I do take them seriously. And consider subscribing. It helps me know that I'm doing a good job. And I just want 2026 to be a good year for this channel. Thank you once again for watching. Thank you for listening. And I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful and safe rest of your day.